Hi, everyone. Welcome to the NFA podcast with Michiel Frackers and Anon. We're excited to start and record our first episode today, and we're excited that you're listening in as well. So welcome to the show.
You
first,
told
I'd
me
like to...
NFA stood for not financial advice.
That too.
That too.
But
we
it's
just want
also
to make
Michiel
that clear.
Frackers and Anon.
Yeah. At the top of the show, this is not financial advice. We don't recommend anybody to do what we do. And this goes, in my case, for anything in life. Don't do what I do. And don't follow my advice. So it's Nish, Frackers, and Anon. Or anyone else. That's what it
Anyone
stands
else.
for.
Michiel
What a
Frackers
brand.
and everyone listening.
How did you get involved with crypto and what is your journey? Because you have the weirdest, I don't know if it's your byline or someone gave it to you. The crypto dentist?
I think that was given to me by you, probably. But but I've been in the space since 2018. Officially and full time in 2020. 2018, someone gave me my first $13 worth of Bitcoin in this little heart wallet that was a coin. And this was in Singapore, and I haven't been able to get the Bitcoin out of there, so I have no idea what it's worth now. I don't even know if the app exists, but I guess it's not counted as a burn. So
you know what? In hindsight, it may never have
been.
been a Bitcoin. He just gave you a piece of crap and told you this is a Bitcoin.
No, it's definitely there. It's definitely there. I'll send you the wallet address. I still have it. It's
sure. If you see the wallet address, we all know that. Then you own it.
Yeah, but I don't have the keys, so I guess I have
But
no
still
idea
there.
what's going on. If someone could help me, this is my cry for help. Anyway, I've been in the space since 2020 and started a PR and marketing agency with my sister back in the day. Ended up being one of the largest agencies in the space, worked with over 600 companies, advised hundreds on their token launches and go-to-market strategy. So yeah, excited to be here and share my journey. Currently, though, I've been through quite the revolution in my career, where I've started my master's in oral surgery and helping advise a couple companies as well as lead their marketing.
So that's what the crypto dentist comes from. So is it dentist by day, blockchain advisor by night? I don't know. It sounds horrible.
A little bit, yeah. I put on
Although
my
it would be
blockchain
worse
cape.
if it would be the other way around. I'm in blockchain by day, but I'm a dentist at night.
That's terrifying. I'm actually
I
the
just
tooth
go around
fairy.
the streets helping people with their dental work. Okay. So that's, yeah. So you and I met, just for the audience, in Singapore. We actually met, and this could be symbolic, in a casino.
Yes.
Because I met Nish's sister, Nikki, that day. She was the host of a conference where I was speaking. And then later she was kind enough to bring me to a casino. And we realized then that when I met Nish there, that you and I both hate gambling.
I know, we were just standing there. But I'm curious, how did you get in the space? What threw you down the crypto rabbit hole?
It's a little bit of a sad story. So I actually am a failed movie screenwriter, and I got a scholarship, born in Amsterdam, got a scholarship at the University of Amsterdam to study at San Francisco State. And I said I was going to do my marketing and MBA there. But I was actually taking film classes. So I actually did two schools at the same time. So it was quite a busy time.
Oh.
Unfortunately, I had absolutely no talent for movie screenwriting, which is sad. And I also have a lot of self-hatred. So that's a sad combination to have. So I was writing these shitty screenplays in the computer lab in 91. And by chance, there was a computer lab that Steve Jobs had donated. Next Computers 2 and other computers, Macs as well. So thanks to him, I saw the internet very early on. So when my whole movie screenwriting career didn't take off, I actually started an ISP back in Holland with two college buddies that I graduated with. All of us were unemployed, coming out of studying communications. There's no job for a failed movie screenwriter. So I actually started the first ISP in Holland that was covering the whole country where everybody had access to the internet. And we sold it to the Royal PTT Netherlands, the phone company, that by chance, again, was going public at that time. And the browser had just come out in the same year, the Netscape browser. So the internet analysts were asking, what is your internet strategy? And then they was like, we don't, that guy. So they just pointed at me, and I was 24 at the time, and suddenly I was talking to analysts from all over the world about the IPO. So it was a crash course for a guy that didn't even know what sales tax was. We were still on welfare at the time, so it was great. And then long story short, after we sold the company, I became an angel investor, unfortunately a very bad one. So I did that for a bunch of years, was also an advisor to some fund projects. I learned a lot of stuff actually advising other people. As an investor, I somehow stumbled into Bitcoin space, into crypto space, when I was a guest on a radio show. And there was somebody talking about Bitcoin. This was 2012. And just for fun, I bought for $1,000 32 Bitcoin. So you know what the price was then. And 2 years later on the same show, after the Mt. Gox incident in 2014, I sold them. So I thought I did great. 10x. So I sold them for 10,000. So remember, I put 1,000 in, sold them for 10,000. So that's how I stumbled into it. And my 2 investment funds that I ran one first and then another one. The maximum we ever invested in startups was like $1 million. So it was not a big fund, trying to get entrepreneurs off the ground. And I had like the Messiah complex, thinking I can help these entrepreneurs put a little money in. With my coaching, they will get there. And later I learned that it's sort of like, I don't want to say football players, but you're born with certain talents as an entrepreneur, and they're not easily transferable at all. Also, when they did great, I did some good investments. I didn't feel like I contributed other than paying sending the check and having coffee. So I did basically wasted 10 years of my life doing that. And since then, I'm an entrepreneur, an investor, but only in my own projects. And the project you and I are both advisors on right now is called Tracer. We'll talk about it some other episode, but it's a real-world asset. I'm trying to do real-world stuff, and preferably sustainable solutions that help decarbonize the planet. But for the first episode, I think, it's probably best if we talk about some trends that you see in crypto right now. And then in the second episode, we'll talk about specific projects and tokens and stocks. But what is it like, the big trends you're seeing in crypto from your point of view right now?
I always love this question. I think it's really fun because the trends, you never know how long they're going to stay around for. Like if you remember last year in October, there was that massive Telegram and Ton movement. And then by like November end, it was gone. So there are a lot of different trends going on right now, especially with AI agents. I think that is number one. AI has finally found its place in crypto and blockchain within AI, which is really cool. So we'll dive into that a little bit more. The next trend that I'm seeing...
You see projects in that? There are projects right now that are developing AI agents in combination with crypto?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot. Actually, AI 16Z is, or Z as some people call it, is one of the most popular Telegram channels that exist, and it's become the largest AI influencer. It has called some of the major tokens that we are now seeing coming up. It's just been phenomenal. I mean, the things that this AI agent is talking about, and that was just the first. And then you have the whole virtuals ecosystem. There's just so many AI agent ecosystems that are basically scanning social metrics to figure out social momentum and identifying different tokens. And it's funny because you now have agents doing this, but there are projects that have been doing this for a while, which again, we can dive into later, or I can dive into now. But basically, the whole AI agent space, I think, is definitely coming up very fast. But like other AI, I'm not sure if this is a trend or a buzzword. So that's a tricky part.
But so let's dive into this. What do you mean with you see AI agents in the crypto space? Like, give an example of a project. What does it do? That's the biggest question people always ask me about blockchain. What does it actually do?
So let me give you some backstory on this. It was really interesting because in 2023, I was on a panel at a conference with one of the co-founders of Singularity DAO. And on this panel, he was talking about how blockchain is made for AI, because AI on its own can go rogue, but blockchain technology can actually implement on the back end of AI and show you the transparency that people require when trusting AI. And so he had a really interesting take on it. And this, again, bear in mind, end of 2023, and AI agents just came around at the end of last year. Yeah. So very early for his time, but he had some phenomenal insight into how AI can be used as a predictor, social momentum tracking. And this is, again, mainly for token sentiment and trading. Now, the Virtuals ecosystem is an AI agent ecosystem. And initially, this AI agent was the first AI influencer on Twitter. And her name is Luna, and she can also join Twitter Spaces. She talks. I mean, it's really weird, but, it's actually quite cool. And then they've come out with a couple other personalities as well. But essentially what these AI agents do is they again, do the sentiment tracking, but some of the AI agents actually release their own tokens as well. It's really cool because I'm advising this company. It's called IAO, Intelligent Autonomous Organization. And it basically allows any enterprise to plug in these AI agents. And bear in mind, I've only spoken about the crypto application right now, but in actuality, these AI agents can do anything. Think of them as a replacement for employees. You have customer service models, which have been around, the chatbots. Yeah. They work 24/7. So no matter who hits your website, they have automated replies. And those aren't the best example because they don't function that well, but you can build legal teams around this, and you can have your entire legal entity running and getting advice. So everything gets streamlined. Everything functions as AI. So no employees sleep. No one needs a break anymore. You can trust the information. You can ask it for source and credibility. It's great.
And what blockchain does it run on?
Any. You can run it on any blockchain.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your biggest trend, basically. Or you have more?
I definitely have more. I think gaming is coming up really, really fast as well. We're currently at this position where we are seeing gaming turn from, the pay-to-play era into gamers now questioning why they're paying for games when there's so much available for free.
That is funny.
Yeah, so people are getting also more weary of their time and where they're spending it, and there's a whole shift in that dynamic and that communication that's going on between, I guess, in gamers.
But it's sort of funny, right? When you say, as a gamer, why am I paying for this game? It's like as if you're going to the movie saying, why am I paying to see this movie? But you're, of course, using something that people have created a ton of time and money to develop.
So, yes, but there's also that area where, okay, now I've got the game. Now I have to buy skins. Now I have to buy guns. Now I have to buy upgrades. And there's never any return. So gamers are like, well, what if my friend wants my skin and I can just send that over? They should pay me for that, Yeah. And that's where NFTs fit in, which is, again, blockchain. And to be honest, the gaming community is very averse to blockchain. It's always been like the big bad wolf and the scary new change. But I think now, because it's been around for a while, people are getting more used to hearing it and more used to the idea. So I feel like that's coming up next as well. It just changes the dynamic completely because now you have these microtransactions that are going on within your game.
Yeah, and doesn't have to be a dollar. It could be like a cent, It could be microcent. It could so much.
It's beneficial for both the users and the companies because now companies have more ways to make money and the user has a way to actually trade and get revenue back. We saw this with this Telegram app called Catizen. They did $22 million in the first month in trading fees from their internal revenue generating models. Just really, really cool stuff.
Oh, by the way, we should mention this. We'll put it in the show notes. I don't know where yet, but there'll be a webpage where we'll put all the links from each episode that people can click on, and if they want to see more about what the stuff is that we're referring to. So, okay. So then my trends you completely stole because my first trend, it's very clear it's not scripted. My first thing was decentralization and then an arrow to Web3 crypto. And so I'm reading here. So my first trend is decentralization. My second trend was AI and agents. And the third is decarbonization, which I'll explain. But all three will be connected. You just totally, in Dutch there's this great expression, you have just mowed all the grass away in front of me. But basically saying AI agents using various decentralized platforms for different tasks, meaning they could become the final breakthrough of real useful applications of blockchain, other than investing, for both the business and the consumer market. So not just agents to do your shopping like the new OpenAI operator, but do complete work tasks, especially collaborative stuff, but you mentioned it as well, but also financial tasks like investing, paying bills. Everything you just mentioned, I just summarized, except I wrote it yesterday. The third trend is this decarbonization, but actually it's like the flip side of AI. The problem with the current state of AI, and especially LLMs, is the incredible energy use. Basically, because they're so server intensive, they require amazing amounts of energy. For example, Microsoft and Google have increased their energy use to 20 to 40% in the last 3 years. And it's all due to AI developments. And you will see the same at Meta, Oracle, Salesforce, Amazon, OpenAI. They all have this amazing rise in energy use because of AI. And there's nothing they can do pretty much against it. The new generation of chips get hotter, require more energy. And even though they're relatively per cycle more energy efficient, they still suck a lot of energy. And so what you've seen Microsoft and Google do already is buy amazing amounts of carbon removal credits. So investing in carbon removal technology companies that remove carbon from the atmosphere, and Microsoft even wants to become carbon negative, not just itself by 2030, but also for everything they've emitted since they started in 1976. And they want to reach that by 2050. They want to remove all the carbon they've helped contribute, bringing the atmosphere, which is very ambitious. So it's sort of weird that the rise of AI has a flip side, which is energy use, and that you will see, you already see right now in carbon removal technology. But you also see the trend even at companies like H&M, which you may not know, but it's a low-priced budget fashion.
I don't know who you think you're talking to.
I'm just framing you such a shitty person. I just love it. No, but even Lego. I'm not joking, but they are Swedish and Danish companies, so it does say something about Scandinavian. See Spotify do it as well.
Actually,
but basically, they try to minimize their carbon footprint. Yeah. Sorry.
I saved something for you. Yesterday, I bought a pair of shoes, and they're from Nike, but I came with this tag, and I just had to show you. The Move to Zero is Nike's journey towards a zero carbon and zero waste future.
There you go. And I wonder how they do that, though. They probably don't. But at Nike, I must say, the West Coast companies in the US are very active. So Microsoft, you can just go Amazon, go a little bit further down. You're in Portland, you're at Nike, then go down, you're in the Bay Area. So the West Coast company is very active in this.
How do you feel like blockchain is going to help in this?
That's a really good question. So the big problem in this whole carbon credit space, and I'll only just mention this like in 30 seconds, is that there's very limited transparency. So there's two major issues. First of all, people are buying and selling, these companies are buying and selling carbon credits that have never been realized yet. So supposedly a carbon credit is a ton of CO2 removed from the atmosphere. So if you plant, let's say, a forest of trees, it will take decades before they actually remove anything. But yet they're selling them and offsetting them this year. So what blockchain can really bring is transparency and what I call cradle to grave, from the inception of a carbon credit all the way to the retirement. And real carbon credit should, of course, only be a kiloton removed from the atmosphere and then retired. So everything else is basically just nonsense. Reduction and avoidance carbon credits, as they're called. So let's say the worst one would be, the best example I have in this is a forest that's already there, but you're paying people not to burn down the forest, but they never had any plans to burn down the forest. So you haven't actually paid anyone to increase the amount of carbon removed from the atmosphere. You're just paying people to keep it there. And that's what you see. There's a lot of fraud, basically. Basically, on Monday, they're selling a forest and saying, we're never going to chop this down. And on Tuesday, they start chopping it down and no one checks it. So blockchain is really good at being transparent about it. And then, also be interesting, could revoke retroactively all those tokens, all those carbon credits sold. And that you cannot do in other things. So there's very interesting things that you can do with blockchain. So the Tracer project that we're working on is definitely trying to solve that issue. And as the head of, she was great, the head of sustainability at Salesforce had this great line. She says, we buy for millions of dollars of carbon credits a year. If I'm lucky, I get a PDF or a spreadsheet. So from every project that they buy carbon credits from, they get a separate reporting. And then can you imagine this guy going there? Okay, we have a forest in Brazil. How many carbon credits have they removed this year? They have no way of knowing, and it just puts some stuff in the books that's hard to verify. And this is why this market has not really gotten as big, but it's projected to be a $100 billion market by, and this is sort of funny, in 2030 by Morgan Stanley. But that's now gone up to 150 billion based on the rise of AI. So AI is actually increasing the carbon credit market by 50%. Yeah, it's unbelievable. But you see it in the financial technology industry is the biggest buyer. Second is actually the finance industry, banking, traditional banking, insurance. And third is airlines, but retail like H&M and Lego also even doing this. But yeah, my other thing that I wanted to go to is just about the investments before we wrap up, like the portfolio strategies in this space. So you and I always joke about the fact that you're total, I wouldn't say pump and dump buyer, but you buy meme coins and I don't, and I'm just angry about it because clearly your portfolio killed mine, not only just last year. We'll talk a bit about it. But so what is your approach to investing? Do you buy stocks or do you only really buy crypto?
This is really bad. This is why this is not financial advice, but I actually do not invest in anything traditional finance, which my boyfriend hates because he's a TradFi guy, but I am all in on crypto. I love and excuse my language, but I love my shit coins, or we can call them altcoins, but I don't know, I enjoy it. And I love, to be honest, the reason that I stayed in crypto is because there's one thing that just the ideology behind it is just so great. And it's just power to the people. It's screw all the institutions, screw all the middlemen. Like, this is your money. You handle it the way that you're supposed to. And I love that. And when it comes to my meme coins, that is more of a gambling side. I'm not a gambler, as we mentioned.
No. That's why it's so funny. You don't like gambling, but then you buy all these shit coins.
Yeah, you can take me to a casino and I'll sit at the bar. Like, I'm not gonna do anything else. I just don't like gambling. But there's something about a shitcoin that makes it fun, because it's almost like you're part of that community for that moment. And the community kind of moves together. So it's like, if the community sentiment's really good, you know that token's gonna go up.
Okay.
The moment that the community sentiment starts to shift a little bit, that's where...
When you say community, this is the thing that confuses me. The only thing they care about is that the price goes up. What else do you discuss other than the price of Pepe? That's
really it. That's the point of the meme coin. And it's funny that you say Pepe, because I'm staring at I keep looking down because I have the Pepe sticker on my laptop. I actually rub its belly every time before I make a trade, and it brought me a lot of good luck.
This is why this podcast, people, is called financial advice. This strategy comes down to rubbing the belly of the frog sticker on your laptop before you make a trade.
Yeah,
and these are wise words that you want to live by.
That's right. You know how you rub like the laughing Buddha's belly?
I know, but even that, I also think it's disgusting, because I always wonder who else rubbed it. Did he wash his hands? And this is I have OCD and a lot of other issues.
I sanitize my laptop, so he gets a nice...
The stickers come with peeling off. Okay, so that is, I get that. So here's kind of funny thing. You know that yesterday, I'm not joking, this is real, February 6th, in 1637, the legendary tulip bubble in the Netherlands burst. Because the Dutch were not only the inventors of, I was going to say slavery. No, although we did establish the franchise, I must say, unfortunately, very big slave traders. But also at the same time invented shares. So they used to send one boat overseas. Like, one guy would own one boat and could sink or not. And then another guy would own another boat. Then they figured out, what if we each have shares in both boats, and then we have 15 each, but then we hedge our bets in case one of them sinks. So that's why the Dutch invented the shares and the first stock exchange. However, they also invented, because right after that, the tulip mania, and the cryptos. Of course, everybody always talks about the tulip bubble is the sort of same thing as the .com boom that I lived through, and then the crypto bubble. But it's sort of funny that happened yesterday when so many people, so it lost like 99.999% of its value. I just thought it was very symbolic. Anyway, I do want to say about investing. Here's my thing on investing. I do think that I learned this late in life. My mom's a tour guide. My stepfather is a waiter. Investing was not big in our family. Tips were big in our family. What I found out later when I started making some money, that poor people save and rich people invest. And that's why I try to teach my nephews and nieces to learn to invest. Of course, they never listen. One does only shit coins. The other one puts everything, I don't know in what, I think in Starbucks. I said, it's called Starbucks. It's not an investment. And I mean in the coffee, not the actual shares. But start with ETFs and index funds. That's the only tip I have. And do it for like $100 or $200 that you're comfortable with losing per month. But learn before you go into individual stocks. So that would be my only tip I have, which is not financial advice. Don't listen to Nish. Don't rub a belly of a frog before you do a trade. But I am going 50-50 this year in stocks and crypto. Although right now I'm completely out of crypto. Out 100%.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I sold when things went to an all-time high. My tradition has been, when I got back into it, that when it goes to an all-time high, I sell. Yeah. And then come back when it's dropped 20%, I get back in. But it hasn't dropped 20%. So my whole strategy may be crap. I own zero crypto. I think I have like, just for testing purposes, some Ether, like a few hundred. But that's about it. And for the rest in stocks, we'll talk about it in the next episode. But I am big on some of the bet. Have you heard about the BATMAM stocks? BATMMAAM? Your boyfriend probably does know about them. He's in TradFi. He's called a TradFi guy. Poor guy just got diminished.
Chad.
A TradFi guy.
I'm just going to change his name to Chad.
Yes, Chad. So it's Broadcom, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Alphabet, which is Google, and NVIDIA. Those stocks are, and I give you just a little bit of a hint what we're going to talk about in the next episodes. But and I'm reading this again, so sorry for having you all look at my forehead. Listen to this. Last year, Bitcoin went up 124%, right? Ethereum did over the last year. Ethereum only went up 14%. Nvidia went up 88%. So Bitcoin clearly beat Nvidia, even the highest flyer. But in the last 5 years, Bitcoin went up 874%. Woo! However, Ethereum went up 1112% of the last 5 years, beating Bitcoin, of course, because it started late. Anyway, Nvidia went up 1941%.
Wow.
Yeah. So for you folks, you crypto kids with your meme coins, yes, you can do great in it. But if you hold longer and you pick the right ones early, companies like Nvidia even beat Bitcoin, to my surprise. But I'm not saying Nvidia will do this again. The hard part, of course, is what is the company now that will have the same kind of trajectory as Nvidia. So I do have one that we talk about next time, which is called Palantir, one of the most secretive companies in the world. It went up 374% in the last 12 months.
Wow.
But that's for next time. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole NVIDIA thing is a conversation for the next episode as well.
We'll share the webpage in the show notes, and then we'll have all the links of all the stuff we talked about, including the web shop where you can buy Nish's frog sticker, because that seems to be the key.
Correct.
See you next time. Thank you. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.